What's up, everyone? Kaiju no Kami here with
Cruellica Kain.
Silver Quill, floating on down the Quill.
Oh God, that was terrible.
Thank you.
We are here to talk about Donbrothers, episodes 29 to 34.
Yeah, we really are trying to catch up on backlogs.
Yep, and these were all great episodes.
Well, we've already seen one of them before.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good second pass. It was a fine second serving. But I should say right now, we all have Stockholm Syndrome, even though it's for someone else who got kidnapped.
So, yeah, we've got... So our first episode was Yellow's aunt getting kidnapped.
No, I think that was the second.
That wasn't the first. The first was Morning and Murasame.
Oh...
So
that was the one where, obviously, Murasame had taken Sonoe to the... And then we had the whole funeral.
The funeral, which... Okay, really, we spent more time on the prep for the funeral than the funeral itself, which sadly feels true to real life. But basically, Taro is like the worst guest you could ever invite to...
What do you mean? He brought them food.
He threw food at them.
He brought them a sandwich that he bit into because he was pissed off that for some reason they put the invitation to the funeral in the sandwich. And I just have to say, because Silver Quill and I have both agreed, no, we're not trying to hug you here.
No, we're in bread solidarity here.
But we agreed. We both love bread, but this sandwich had way too much of it.
I mean, the bread was like this thick, just one slice.
It's like, Jesus, I can't. No. And
it's like seasoned to yeast.
So he threw the bread at them.
Well, he threw the sandwich, which is mostly bread, at them.
And they ate it, and they were, like, amazed at how good it was. But I did like the fact that with the invitation, when he brought it back to everyone, how it wasn't working, and he pulled a kaiju move of, let's hit it to see if that fixes it. Because apparently, you have not come out of the 80s. I hate to break it to you. Yes, in the 80s and 90s... hitting a television or a stereo made it somehow work. But we're not in that age any longer. We're no longer in that age where you have to hit something to make it work.
And then we find out that Murasame is also the only being that can kill the bestials.
And, well, we got some development for it as Murasame talked with... I think it was in this episode. It all kind of blends together. He talked with Jiro, and they began to find other views of themselves. Also that Murasame can possess a wielder, make them hyper-violent. And no one is immune, especially not if they think they have wabi-sabi souls. Okay, I need a reminder. What does wabi-sabi translate?
I don't know.
Let me see.
But I liked also how it ended up being repowering Momotaro when he lost his abilities to the...
Cerebrians.
Yep.
Wabi-sabi is a worldview centered on the acceptance of transience and imperfection. The aesthetic is sometimes described as one of appreciating beauty that is imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete in nature. It is prevalent throughout all forms of Japanese art.
Fair enough.
Which makes sense for Saru brother.
Makes sense for him, but nothing in that philosophy accounts for unbridled rage and violence.
So it literally travels between everyone. And so it was kind of fascinating. And once it got to Taro... And Taro just like, oh, you powered me up, and throws it away. I'm like, okay.
I also like, though, because that was the Alba Ranger monster, and how he used the Alba Ranger logo as an attack.
Stop it. Meanwhile, I'm having Lord of the Rings Tom Bombadil flashbacks.
But it was an interesting episode.
He never featured in the movies of Lord.
Oh, that character.
He could hold the ring and not be possessed by it. He was basically a proxy for God himself, which says something about Taro. I mean, if he's supposed to be a proxy for God, man, divinity's gone to his head.
Well, he gets teleported to the funeral hall in a bathtub. They ask, "How's the water?" Tepid. Then they give him back rub. "How's back rub?" "Harder." "No, I want harder." "No, let me show you." And rubs his elbow into the guy's back. And the guy's like counting out, like, "Okay, I'm done.
At this point, you're not trying to loosen the muscles, you're trying to merge with them.
And then we go into where he's eating, and it's literally cotton candy. And I will agree with Taro, cotton candy really doesn't have a taste.
Oh, I thought
it's just pure sugar.
Well, that is the taste, the sugar taste.
I thought he was just saying it didn't taste like anything because they're cerebrums.
Yes.
So it didn't have any flavor to it.
Possibly, but I took it because don't get me wrong, I like cotton candy because of the sweetness, but I don't really taste anything but sweetness.
Then you haven't had the right blueberry and strawberry cotton candy.
I've never had flavored
challenge.
cotton candy.
A challenge.
Well, there you go. That's your problem. You haven't had the good cotton candy.
Okay, this is going to sound like you're some back alley deal. Yo, man, I got the good cotton candy right here. Man, it ain't going to dissolve in your mouth for at least 3 seconds. Hey, I could hook you up. Okay, brother.
Alright, nevertheless, before we get banned from YouTube because he wants to sell
cotton candy
out
of a jacket?
out of a van.
We are now down by the river.
We're going to talk about episode 30, Juto Hunter, which is the episode that you're thinking about with the bestials.
With the bestials and the best darn kidnapping ever. If Bowser gave Princess Peach this treatment, the Mario Brothers would be out of a job.
Why do you think Princess Peach always gets kidnapped?
No, I've seen her like just in a cage.
So
that's for sure.
Haruka's auntie Yuriko gets kidnapped by 3 dudes out of a van. She starts kicking.
Maybe they were trying to sell cotton candy.
She starts kicking their asses, and then one guy comes up behind her and knocks her out. Well, we find they call Haruka and it's like, "You're Oni's sister. We want you to." They don't say anything until you don't hear what is said. And then we go to where everybody's together, and she's like, "Yeah, they want us to take out the bestials." So then, with the bestials, what I like is because you mentioned it when we were watching the episode, everybody gets the same text message of all of the people who are bestials. And apparently, well, Tsuyoshi makes sense. His world is very small, revolving around Miho. So when he sees Miho's name on there, but it's funny with Haruka because she sees her ex-boyfriend's mom on there. And she's like, "Oh my god, that makes sense." But then we cut to the auntie.
And she's having the best dang time because she may be tied to a chair, but they are feeding her fine caviar, giving her back massages,
giving her foie gras,
giving her actually good food, not caviar.
Well, they gave her other good food too, like foie gras and anything else, and then showing fashion magazines to her, and even she admits they're all hot. But the one,
just like what Haruka did when she got kidnapped.
But before we
she
go
was staring at those too.
too far, I do want to say that everybody, including Taro, of the Donbrothers, they roll an epic fail when it comes to being able to recognize anything around them. They're having this very high important conversation about her auntie being kidnapped. And sitting at the bar right in front of the master is one of the kidnappers.
Well, I mean, technically not one of the kidnappers, but call them Anoni? Anoni?
Yeah.
Anoni.
I know, Anoni. It's very creative.
It is. But the thing is, this guy last time I remember a grunt talking to the cast was in Q Ranger, and they were just being deceptive. This guy is wonderfully upfront, honest, polite, pays for a meal, says keep the change. So I'm like, hey, don't.
Well, yeah, he's like, I'm paying for them too.
So it's like, don't hurt this guy. Don't hurt any more Anonis. They seem so polite.
So as they're going around trying to figure out what to do, the bestial cop who's been chasing Inuzaka throughout the entire series, he then, with other cat bestials, kills the kidnappers, knocks out Auntie, picks up the phone, and calls Haruka, rawr, rawr. And that's all you hear, and then she says what's going on. They want them to get Murasume. So Murasume, because Murasume is the only thing that can kill them. And once again, they roll their D20 for awareness around their surroundings.
Perception.
So there's a monster attacking, and the guy who wanted all spicy stuff and couldn't get enough spice, which I totally relate to.
Sure.
Because he turned into the Flashman monster.
Which he actually called on the first try.
And this was completely joking on my part. I was like, I want you to give a gut instinct. And he's like, Flashman. No faith at all in his response. And then when it turns out to be Flashman, he's like, I called it.
I was like, the reason I just guessed is because blocks, I was like, oh, Prism, Flashman. And then it was like, wait, he's attacking with Prism power.
Moon Prism power.
Oh, it's Flash. It was Flashman. And then, but so we have their fighting, and Yellow's like, I don't got time for this. Runs off. Everyone else runs off, and then Momotaro's about to leave, and there shows up Miho in her crane the crane bestial, who says, yeah, just so you know, all the bestials are a copy, so if you kill the bestial, the original dies.
And she also says, there's the cat bestial, there's the crane bestial, and then the pengi, because I don't know why they just don't use the N in Japanese, but the penguin bestial, and she doesn't say anything about it.
Well, she says the cat, what was it? One of them makes the stories, one of them, oh my god, what were they? The crane weaves the stories, the cat...
There we go. Maybe we need to Google this.
And then she stopped the penguin. So I'm telling you, penguin is actually going to be Kaito, because it's actually not the real Kaito. The real Kaito's in wherever the people go when they get captured by the bestials.
Honey, I hate to break it to you, but I think all of us have been guessing that Kaito's the penguin.
Yes, I know, but still. So then I like the cat bestial and his minions are all like, oh, the crane's here, and as they're leaving, Yellow is right behind the door.
Okay, so the Jujo, she doesn't go over. She reviews the nature of the penguin before leaving, but the scene cuts as Miho walks off. So she only tells Taro what she said, not anyone else.
Right.
And given what we see later, that's actually going to be...
But like I said, she said one does the stories, and there was another one she said about...
Well, nevertheless...
What we have to give credit where it's due.
Roll the tape.
The tape... Sister, even I'm older than you, and that was outdated.
Oh, you're so adorable.
I try. But let's give credit where it's due. The bestials fail the perception checks just as much.
Yes.
Because there is this bright yellow dressed heroine in the window, pressed up against it anymore, and she'd be like,
Yeah, no, everyone fails perception. I will admit that.
Kaiju, when you get here? Ha!
But it's kind of hilarious because it's literally throughout the entirety of the episode a comedy of errors. And so then we finally get the one thing that we have been waiting for the entirety of this series. And that is seeing Tsuyoshi run up to Miho, yelling Miho, and having Tsubasa come into frame, see Miho, and he's like, Natsume? And it's like...
Our dramatic blue balls are finally being addressed.
So, overall, it was a good episode because it continues on the whole...
Well, and then we have episode 31, where...
Oh, this is...
starts off with them all wondering who Inu brother is, and...
No, before we get into the story itself, what is that slide thingy?
The slide thingy?
Where they had the noodles coming down.
Oh, yeah, that's been a thing in several... It's a game, basically.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Who can catch the noodles as they come down?
I just thought it was weird.
You go ahead, I'll look it up.
Sometime Kamen Rider. But anyway, so then we have Jiro going,
Oh, bamboo water slide, okay.
Inu brother is Tsubasa. And they're all like, what?
All because he could smell him.
And Kaito's there like, I'm not saying anything.
Well, Kaito obviously knows. So we also have a monster whose desire is to lose weight, which I am just gonna put that out there because it was kind of interesting because I love food. I live to eat. I'm not gonna deny it. I enjoy food. And
I would hope so. You eat it.
But anyways, when the monster is running away, after he's like, wow, I think I lost some weight from it, sees a window about food being on
first we got the monster who uses the Seaic power to disappear. Then when he comes back later, he uses the Skyic power to disappear.
And the earth?
Or no, he does does Landic power, and then he's running and sees this like, I gotta lose weight, diet. Ooh, here's a discount. Transforms back, goes in there, has all this food that he's just devouring, and he's like, yeah, I'm starting my diet today. And it was just funny when she goes, oh, you don't need to do that. It's blah blah blah, and then the monster just flies away in the sky.
His desire is released. Now, apparently, the slides are called Nagashi Somen, and Takara Tomy, produce their own at-home plastic water slide for your noodles. So the idea is you try to catch them and you eat what you catch.
Ooh.
But anyways, so...
That's too much work to eat.
So...
Well, maybe that's part of the diet idea.
One of the experiences through the episodes, they battle. And because obviously Tsubasa is still so discombobulated about Natsume, he's not paying attention because Taro during the fight is like, hey, dog, we're going to be meeting back at Donbrothers Cafe. Well, he's not paying attention, but everybody thinks he heard him. So when they're waiting for him, Haruka gets excited because somebody walks in with their dog. And she's like, it must be the dog that's... And then we have the most emo of emo-y musicians.
Kind of reminds me of Gokai Green with his hair.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
He basically gets knocked out by Inu Brother. Inu Brother transforms into Tsubasa. Tsubasa runs away because
not realizing he left his glasses.
Because he thinks that that the rest of the Rangers are trying to get him in the same room because he now has a bounty on his head and they want the money. So once again, nobody's communicating. So the musician, who is named Inui, very close to Inu, he sees the glasses next to him, so everybody thinks he's Inu Brother. And then...
Well, I like when he's thinking of band and starts picturing Haruka.
Oh,
as the only sister, I wanted that jacket. I'm going to be at Ponyville Cider Fest in Milwaukee next weekend. I would love to walk in wearing that much bling on a jacket.
Oh my God. if you could get through the airport, I'd be amazed.
Well, it's not so much the airport as I check the bag, but if the plane is... Folks, we are suddenly weighed down by awesome fashion. We're going to have to disembark as we check the luggage. Who ordered this super awesome jacket? You are my new hero.
Oh my god.
We'll move you up to first place. Let me dream. Let me dream.
All I'm thinking of right now is in A Christmas Story when Ralphie thinks he got an A on his like lackluster essay and people are like carrying him throughout the classroom on their shoulders. That's all I'm thinking that you're picturing in your mind right now. But anyways, so when he finds out that they're all superheroes, he thinks this is cool. Tsubasa runs in because he doesn't see his glasses, sees everybody fighting, and sees another version of him there. They talk, and he convinces Inui to be Inu Brother right now because maybe if they think somebody else is it, they will try to take him in for the bounty. Because
no, and I would love though is when he goes in there to be it, and he's all like having the attitude of like Guy.
Oh, yes.
From Jetman.
Yeah, he starts imitating a really badass previous Sentai.
From Jetman.
Even if the heavens betray me, my fists won't. Is that... Now, I feel like that's Gecky Ranger. I really do.
No. That's
No?
not Gecky Ranger.
No, but it does seem like something Guy would say back in 1990.
91.
91, because he's that emo. Even though I love Guy, but,
No, he plays the saxophone. I mostly know. He
And
plays
he smokes and
saxophone
drinks.
for death.
He what?
And he smokes and drinks, just like Kotaro in the new Kamen Rider.
But, well, we're not going to go there. But anyways, because there's not enough Special K to talk about for that. But anyways, it's an inside joke. I'll explain to you afterwards. I don't want to say the actual meaning because we'll probably get the actual video right now banned if I say what I mean.
Go on!
I'll tell you after. Anyways, so, so we have this, and then, Haruka starts Tsuyoshi starts quoting him as he walks out the door, sees Tsubasa, and they're now talking about, okay, I want to meet Miho.
Well, and their bounty, they're all like, oh, Tsubasa, we see you got a bounty now.
And that's so cool!
Well, it's so cool. I will help you don't get caught.
Keep running, I'm rooting for you.
But overall, we're at episode 31, and only one person knows who Inu Brother is outside of Kaito / Master. And nobody believes him because...
And then we have, there was another guy that got taken over by the Ghost Sager monster.
Inui.
Yeah.
Because Inui,
He's fighting for his own girlfriend.
So apparently, to make matters worse, Inui
thinks
lost
Miho
his love Shoko, thinks Shoko, when he sees Miho, that Shoko is Miho. So we have now Inui who thinks Miho's Shoko, Tsuyoshi who thinks Miho is Miho, and Tsubasa who thinks Miho is Natsume. And they're about to have a duel.
Which is really cool. We have this really cool camera angle that has an Oni slide, and we have lightning crossing over it.
And Miho walks in badass. You're not going to fight over me. I'm married to him. Puts a cloth down, kneels, which I am never fucking doing for you, so get that out of your head. Kneels on there, pats her leg, and he comes over.
She just goes,
like a trained dog. Now, I'm going to ruin the wholesomeness of this character. Put a hyphen in the middle of her name. What do you get? See, they can't demonetize you. Don't say it aloud. They can't. It's best if you picture it.
But anyways, so I think we need to cut there just because.
Well, no. So
no, we need to get
so
to.
So Inoue then becomes the Ghost Sager monster
it's Inoue, not Inoue, because Inoue is the writer of the show.
Inoue becomes the new monster that they have to save. And also in the meantime, we get all these great commentary when they're transforming in the mechs of, ooh, another day, another leg, and
it's hard to keep up with that sometimes, but it's always
they're
funny.
all talking at once, and the subtitles we saw were both at the top and the bottom of the screen. So I don't even know.
They love all the commentary going on. They're doing with like up on the shoulder again, and
why can't I ever be an arm? What's wrong with being a leg?
So we're gonna cut this now, only because we're gonna get to the best episode.
Snip
Of the series to date so far.
So good they aired it twice.
Exactly! So we're getting to the duel part two. Because it makes me think of Hot Shots part 2.
What's Hot Shots?
How the hell? Okay. We're making you watch this movie.
That's
it is
great.
Incredible.
That's right. It's before Charlie Sheen went crazy.
Exactly. It's a great movie.
No, you're not.
No,
you are deprived.
It is better than I would say Naked Gun is. I actually like Hot Shots better than Naked Gun.
I've only seen the first Naked Gun.
And this is better. But anyways.
So, you poor deprived soul.
I know, right?
I feel the need to hug him.
Oh, hell
no. Okay, ow. I'm sorry, but this is not anything but fat. You cannot. All right, anyways.
We found his kryptonite. So basically, take all our commentary from the first duel and repeat it here because it's just as funny, especially as we're like, hey, wait a minute.
No, I love those when they're all asking, like, oh, they must be in the fight now. Oh, I wonder how long it's going for, and none of them think about it until like, hey, haven't we been through this before?
Blue gets I have the strangest feeling of deja vu.
And then we have Mamataro, when he turns, is like, what? Oh, wait a minute, I think we've done this before.
And I love the fact that it's, so basically, just switch the characters, switch some of the locations. It is almost until you get to the end, almost a shot-for-shot remake. The only difference is, instead of having the Bestials interrupt the fight, we get Mr. Ninja Man again.
Ninja Man.
Who's now Bokinger.
So
after, I'm sorry, but I have to point this out. The new Naruto spin-offs are getting kind of desperate because we have ninja horses now.
What?
You didn't see that?
I haven't watched Naruto in forever.
Neither have I, but they've released like 5 different comic series around him. But they're...
Is it still in the Boruto universe?
Halfway there. There's end of Naruto, start of Naruto, this is the middle. But what I'm getting at is that when Ninja Guy is starting to freak out and hears Ninja calling, he sees the horses donning ninja garb.
Oh, yes. I didn't think of... Well, I didn't know about Naruto.
I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Look for this on my Twitter as I say, wow, the new Naruto spin-offs are getting really weird. And people will wonder, what's this from? What's this from? I want to know what this is from.
Hopefully they do, because more people watching it would be awesome.
But
and his mom, because apparently his mom has acknowledged and is aware that she has suffered twice of her son turning into a monster over his desires, and so I thought that was kind of entertaining.
And then he becomes Bokinger. And this time, though, Sonoi, when he returns, actually kills for right now, but he kills the dude.
So
he's in that prison dimension of sorts.
So we go through all of this, and then we get to I would say the last 3 minutes of the episode. Because it really feels like the last 3 minutes of the episode. We then get the return of Sonoi. And Sonoi is not just Sonoi anymore. He is Sonoi 2.0 /Taro.
Sinaro.
Ooh, I like that Sinaro.
But yeah, I love...
Because he's on that,
Yes, which was an actual prop, which was nice.
And, well, I mean, I'm sure it was a physical prop when they recorded those guys.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But they certainly did not have a motorcycle on them when they...
No. But, so, we see him laughing like Taro.
Oh, sorry, you can't see my hand.
And then... And then they fight.
I kind of wish I could enter a convention that way. Have several people... Pelican. No. It's a celebration, everyone!
You should do that, like, opening ceremonies. Like, if they ever do, like, get the... community guests, you should just go on stage like, ha 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 ha.
Look, I'm going wearing those that cape and cloak.
That wouldn't work because...
But I'll unveil. But you know what? I realize I actually have a cloak that matches the Elder Council of the Cerebrans. It is exactly what they were wearing. But anyway, I would need 6 loyal followers and a palanquin. Send your qualifications to MLP Silver Quill. No.
Send your parents' brains to Brains Care of. Remember the crusted clown from the zombies?
Oh yeah.
But anyways, before we go down the dark path,
too late.
We get to the end of the episode, the last scene where Taro and Sonoi are on the top of a road, like almost like on the top of a hill, so to speak.
With like the videos, like kind of
heat shimmer is.
Yep.
Yeah, and so they both slash each other with the sword. Instead of Sonoi going down, it is Taro. And rather than have Murasame come in to grab Sonoi, we have Bizarro Jiro come in to grab Taro.
And his hat falls off when he picks him up.
Yeah, they left the hat behind. You can never leave the hat behind.
But then...
Shout out to Sweetie Bloom who helped me get my
so a couple of things also in these last few episodes we talked about, I also wanted to mention. The one episode, I don't remember which exactly one it was, but the camera work. When we had the camera going around the battle, and then it starts backtracking into zooming in on Jiro, who's in the distance, when he's about ready to transform.
Also, I will say the 3 transformations of our ninja fanatic is prophetic of what happens in the next episodes. Actually, 2 episodes.
So this next episode, we have basically kind of...
Kaito.
We have 2 different stories.
Kaito, ER.
We have 2 very different stories. We start out with, it's Don Torbolt, who is Bizarro Jiro.
Mm-hmm.
He is trying to help Taro in his own way.
Because he can't stand for anyone else to defeat him.
Murasame comes in. Mother, because now, after having recently watched Psycho again, I'm now getting so many feels of this being Mrs. Bates telling Norman what to do. Mother.
Well, wasn't that a few episodes before?
No, in this episode as well, she was telling... Mother was telling Murasame to kill Taro.
I thought you meant Haruka when she went to visit her boyfriend, her ex's mother.
I'm thinking Murasame is Norman Bates, and Mother that's in his head is Mrs. Bates, which is fitting because it's Halloween time.
But yeah, so we have ER where...
No, we have Operation the Game. Because when he pulls out that giant set of pliers...
So...
I'm just like...
Jiro
brings Taro's body back to...
Master.
Back to Kaito. Kaito's like, we'll just put him in the operating room.
And Jiro is like, what?
Operating.
And once again, he says the best line. The cafe is very well stocked. What does that mean?
It means below the operating room is a nuclear facility with several missiles.
I thought the last well stocked was having a room for them to be having a room with a piano.
Yeah.
And now we have, so is it like literally the TARDIS? Where you could veer off, you're going to have a room with a piano, you're somewhere going to have a swimming pool, you have an operating room, you're going to have that nuclear reactor. We're going to have everything because apparently the cafe is a TARDIS.
Do you think there's good Doctor Who scripts in there somewhere?
No.
Those are all in the past.
Sorry, I hate to break it.
Or maybe Kaito's got the missing Doctor Who episodes in there.
And I'm kind of wondering if it isn't like a room of requirement.
Oh, that's true too. Going the Harry Potter route, but
without the transphobia.
Well, yes, let's.
But yes.
Anyway, so he has his surgeon garb on, and then he transforms into Zen Kaiser with surgeon garb, and Torbo's like, I'll leave it to you. And he's about to get started. He brings out a plasticware knife that has like funky ass shit on it, like vice grips, and is about to get started.
You know it was supposed to be a scalpel, not a plastic knife, right?
Yeah.
I know, but it would look like a plastic knife.
Well, it was translucent.
But anyways, he then hears everybody coming in, and he comes out looking normal. And he's like, yeah, I was about to close for today. And Haruka's like, but we're about to meet the Cerebrums who walk right in.
Well, I did like that scene when Sonoi called them, and we had like the screen broke into fours, and we had the shape of sunglasses with colors for each ranger. And then when Tsubasa took his sunglasses off, the one went completely normal.
Yep. Or, just went away.
Yeah, because Tsubasa's like, I don't have time for this shit.
Yeah, he's conflicted, and boy, is he going to be more conflicted. And we get the silliest competition for loyalty in the form.
It was just nuts.
It was just plain nuts.
Because they're all talking, and Sonoi,
Sonoi's invited them to.
Sonotaro says, I want you to become my... Sonoro wants to be I want you to be my companions. And they say no. And then Saru asks, why do we have the power? How do you know we have the powers we have? Or something along
Why do we have the Donbrothers powers?
And I love his cryptic answer.
We don't have to tell you anything. So it becomes a contest. You win, you get a question answered. You lose, you become a Cerebrum lower function. And, well, apparently blue is the... I'm just sticking with colors because I can't do Japanese justice. Blue is the only one who actually does it right. So I guess he saw things in advance. But what I love is when they unleash all their desires.
They all become Sun Vulcan.
1, 2, 3.
But what I like is, because it seems like, they have desires, Haruka, yellow and blue. The moment Taro comes into play...
Well, hold on. We gotta get back, though, because... So they're doing the quiet game.
Which I'd fail instantaneously.
You suck.
We'll let you know.
And then Kaito comes out like, this is stupid, here. Have an eating contest. And they're all so distracted with the eating, he starts taking energy in liquid form from all of them to feed to Momotaro after doing his surgery with giant scissors.
Oh, giant pliers. Pliers. And that food looked really good.
It actually did. It looked really tasty.
I was feeling pretty hungry looking at them, and I don't know, people just eat really good food in this series. Although, apparently,
that's because it's well stocked.
Well, that one noodle cart in the next episode, that's apparently God's gift to Japan.
But, then Taro comes back all normal, and they have a fight, and we've got, they're taking down, what's his name, Kijino, who's now a monster again.
Again! Let's just put that out there. A second time, he lets his desire for always wanting Miho in his world, which is going to have a very pivotal purpose to the following episode.
But again, Ninja Guy kind of set up, he foreshadowed this triple fall.
And then we have Taro getting his super mode with a phoenix.
Golden Phoenix.
But I love, though, when they transform into the mech form. And we have the armor comes on, and Kijino and Saru are like, we can't see! And when he doesn't attack, his shoulder lifts up, and he says, oh, I can see a little!
Meanwhile, Blue is just like another fresh insult.
Oh, that was another thing. The episode before when we had the mech battle was human-sized.
Now, in the next episode, which is, well, basically, let's get Sonari out of this. The power of Udon, or whatever the hell they called it.
The power of Udon brings him back. The power of Christ.
The powers of noodles compel you. The powers of noodles compels you. Oh, get over his head. Just gonna stir a little bit in your noodle.
Okay, that sounds creepy. Anyways, so yes, Sonoi becomes normal again.
Well, he takes them in a limo to this cart, dressed up.
To the nines.
And they look great.
Dressed up in these ugly... Oh,
no, I love their outfits.
But the funny thing is, Taro and Sonoi were bros. It's the tragedy. But when Sonoi is more like Taro, they can't stand each other.
No, they can't.
Well, I love when they keep comparing them, and then they were doing the same dialogue to each other, word for word, but not noticing it.
So that says something when you can't. Well, I guess it's a classic joke of you can't stand yourself.
Well, yeah. But then, so moving past that, because that's only like a small blip, the main story is really Tsuyoshi and Tsubasa with Mio/Natsume. So Tsubasa is like, is it possible I can have home cooking through... I want to have home cooking.
Because her hairstyling was the same.
And his thought was, basically, you offered this before. I'm going to take you up on it now that I know what's going on.
And then I'm going to take it down.
So he sees the meal that Miho makes, and he's like, wait, I taught Natsume how to make this. So...
And he sees the wedding photos.
And he gets hella jealous.
And then he makes the comment near the end, because they're all talking, and he's like, I bet that's what you say to all the girls, which is something Natsume always said. So Miho's
personality
changes, and so she runs after Tsubasa, and Tsubasa and her hug. Tsuyoshi sees it in the background, and then we jump to the next day, and
she has no memory of what happened.
Yeah, she can't remember being Miho.
And then we have a monster attack.
Monster actually gets kind of forgotten for a good chunk of this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay. The Monsters of the Week, which I think is the weakest aspect of Donbrothers, because they're kind of just there. But I like how the monsters actually have also become kind of plot devices. Where they're there, but they also are being used to motivate the plot moving forward with the other characters. Mm-hmm. So even though they're just background monsters, essentially, they do still have a purpose compared to like Ryu Soldier.
And Ryu Soldier used them as Deus Ex in some cases. But they're Ranger themed, which makes them far better than Zenkaiser.
But I also like, they're more memorable because of that, because we had Deca Ranger in this last episode.
But I do think the funny part about this particular monster is the only reason he became a monster, and it was the udon chef, is because Taro cannot tell a lie, and when he thinks he gives a score of 32, that it's passable in his mind. A 32 sounds terrible.
Out of 100.
And he says it twice!
And I love when, Haruka's like, well, this is 100% Taro's fault.
And she's not wrong.
And so, after defeating the monster, we finally see, the next day come up in a way. The curtains open, Tsuyoshi has a smile on his face, all is right with the world, And then he meets up with Tsubasa for lunch. Orders a sandwich, is very nice. And then he's like, so, when are you going to give me my wife back? The most darkest sentence that you can say in like a happy voice.
The most darkest?
Okay, one of the darkest sentences.
Yeah, that was one of the worst English sentences you could have spoken.
Oh.
You, married to a teacher. What will the students think when they see this?
What?
Also, note that she assaults me with a Sharpie.
A highlighter.
Well, it is a Sharpie highlighter.
But anyways,
means the ink will never come out of me.
He says,
what?
So when are you going to give me my wife back? And Tsubasa, for all that's worth, he does say this is not your fault.
You've done nothing wrong.
You've done nothing wrong. This is a terrible thing that has happened because Miho is essentially a second personality.
Yep. But, well, we have to remember, this isn't even his Tsubasa's girl. It's a bestial, which means it's a copy of a person, which means that.
But neither of them know that.
Yeah, this is what makes Donbrothers.
Would it be interesting though if it turned out the bestial took two people and turned them into?
You interrupted him. Go ahead.
This is what makes Donbrothers so much fun, is that these pockets of information, we the audience are nigh omniscient as we see all this, but all the other characters are operating on half a script essentially.
And it's just like, because all you want to do is scream at the screen that it's gonna be okay, guys. You both can get your wish.
It's like that commercial with the escalator breaking down, when they're just getting there like, hello, we're on an escalator. Like, move, walk up or down.
But Tsuyoshi proving once again that he is a resident sociopath.
The badass character of the show.
He is the most interesting for that reason.
He basically, prior to it, then I think this is why he's so happy, called the police, set up a sting, made sure to get a person who trusted him into the right place at the right time for the police officers, getting him arrested, knowing that in his mind he will be getting his Mio back because no matter what he does, Miho is what he wants.
And they did say Donbrothers always suffer tragedy. He was doing just fine because of his new wife, but now we see the tragedy unfolding. We had Yellow at the beginning, but now it's
well, I also love through all these episodes, every time Sonoza would appear, like in the middle of battle, to Haruka, have you come out of your slump yet? And she's like, are we doing this now? Like, what? This is battle. This is different from that.
Well, no, he was saying
he said that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like, no, this is different.
But he's still encouraging her to get out of her slump. Keep doing manga.
And then he's read the one manga book 83 times.
And when he reads it, I mean, he's doing this arm thing.
He actually smiled legitimately for once.
But also in social situations, you see him processing because his eyes are going helter-skelter. They're going helter-skelter.
But overall, just encompassing everything of these episodes, plus everything that we've watched prior to with Donbrothers, I am enjoying it because
we've got like 15-ish episodes left.
It's one thing it's demonstrating for this particular show is that it's not taking itself too seriously, and it's having fun with it.
But it's also got enough serious overtones and drama to offset.
Oh, drama.
Well, the characters are going through legitimately dark situations.
The most story-driven Sentai we've had since Geki Ranger. Like, Kira Major had story elements, but even that pales compared to this one.
And don't get me wrong, Go Kaiju is still my favorite. It had stories, but it also was never so interwoven with twists and turns and betrayals.
This is way better than Go Kaiju. This show is way better.
Well, that's because you are a fanboy.
No, I love Go Kaiju. It's just this show is breaking all the Sentai rules. Monsters of the Week to just get healed because somebody says something nice to them.
And the fun thing is, in most Sentai, all these quirky relations would have been resolved within the first dozen episodes. I realize that we're on episode 33?
34.
34 out of 40.
Out of probably 49, 50.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've come a very long distance with very little being actually resolved. They've really spaced this out.
Oh, the plot lines just keep going.
They keep going, and I'm not complaining.
And the one thing I like
I'm not bored.
Is that there's that, and they're still continuing to develop the characters.
And there's still the mystery of what is actually going on in this world. Because they just keep going little pieces every now and then because I still don't think it's an actual real world.
No, it may be a computer world, it may be something else.
But I do also like the fact that even though we are targeting or showing other characters, the series still is not centrally focused on the Red Ranger, on Taro. I think the only episode that we've had so far that was truly focused on him was the funeral episode. Because he was in it throughout the entirety of the episode. But all the other episodes, like even the duels, yes, it's a duel between him and someone else or someone else's.
Yeah, all I know is
that it's still not just him.
This series has been so good, I really fear what All Sentai King Ranger is going to be like.
Oh, that's the next one?
All Sentai?
Oh, Sentai King Ranger. So King Sentai King Ranger.
Well, let's not borrow trouble.
Yeah, let's not look to the next series because...
I'm just saying that with how good this one's doing.
You're still doing it.
You're borrowing trouble.
We don't want to talk about what the next series is going to be like because this one is just so much damn fun.
Do you need to hug out these feelings?
No.
Do you need...
I am not. I'm just trying to make sure you don't hit me in the boob again.
Ooh.
You are a boob.
You're a boob.
Ooh, hey, all of you kids at home watching these two.
They already know all these words.
Why? Why are you watching these two? Kids, turn off. Go watch something.
What?
Go watch something wholesome. Like us hugging. Wow, what a nice elbow. Here, test your reflexes. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay, but what do you all think about these last few episodes?
If you had a kidnapping, what would you want them to serve you on a fine platter? What reading material would they turn the page for you? Let's see here. How hot would the abductors be? Because this has like a 50 Shades of Grey spin. I mean, really, that's pretty much the only way that series could go anyway. But yeah.
But and we have Haruka's aunt as the one interrogating Tsubasa at the end.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. And, well, Pink's going to be an antagonist for a while.
I'm really curious to see what they do with this.
Either he's been knocked out of it twice, but can they really just shatter his dependency? What is there for him if there is no Miho?
There you go. The final villain of the series is going to end up being Kijino.
I'm still expecting the Master to be the final
villain. So, the one question I do have with it is, and this is kind of going back to comments I've had about other series when they target mental illness. Because, like, going to Q Ranger, where you had the world.
You mean Zyuohger?
Zyuohger, yes.
Jewel of the World, yeah.
Jewel of the World. And
they turned into a whole joke?
They turned it into a whole joke. The one thing I really respect that Inoue is doing for this particular series is for Kijino Tsuyoshi specifically, is that they're recognizing his mental illness. And I know some people will be like, oh, mental illness is something more severe. Mental illness can be as minimal as dependency. And he has no confidence in himself, even as a hero, unless he has someone who can
affirm him.
Exactly, who can affirm him and give him justification for why he's doing everything he's doing. So I appreciate why... Are you bored?
No, I'm looking for something.
Oh. But I appreciate that in this series, and it's going to make me wonder, like, are they going to take it down a dark path, which is fair, because dependency is a slippery slope. Because if the person you're dependent on is not interested or aware of this dependency, where is it going to get into that, like, stalker and fanaticism? And I wonder if that's where they're kind of going with it in a way, because the previews...
In a way.
Because the previews for the next episode, Natsumi is Natsumi again. She does not remember being Miho.
So this is going to be hard for Pheasant.
And...
It won't be very pheasant.
Very unpheasant.
And in a way, I want him to not have to be a traitor for more than an episode, but at the same time, story-wise, it'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Of course, good luck keeping Tsubasa locked up when a pair of glasses can break him out at any moment. Now, if you have any 50 Shades of Grey fanfics you'd like to submit, Creativity by Design
No.
What?
I hate 50 Shades of Grey.
What?
It's Twilight fanfic.
I know.
Wouldn't it be 50 Shades of Spandex?
Well, you can get that too.
50 Shades of Rainbow?
No, I think 50 Shades of Spandex. If I'm going to go with any of those titles, that would be reasonable. But
you see,
I don't like Twilight. I don't like Twilight fanfic, aka 50 Shades of Grey. And if you've ever read even a page out of that book, the writing is terrible.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But you see, we've got this whole kidnapping in style, which is a 50 Shades fanfic, essentially. So that's why you need to send those fanfics to Creativity by Design.
No! Stop!
All right.
I don't want that on our website.
Anyway.
I'm a tweet it.
I don't think there's really anything else I can think of to talk about these episodes. So.
How about you?
Well, getting to see them all together, you almost see how they're hinting at the greater tragedies with ridiculous characters. Mm-hmm. And, well, the funny thing is, there's no master enemy yet. This is just different factions with different ideologies. The one thing is that the Dawn family was the leading power amongst the Cerebrums at one point. And I don't know why they fell from grace when they created Murasame, Bestials. They seem to have the greatest creativity of this faction, and yet they were ousted.
I think they were... How I look at it is they were probably ousted because of the fact that they became so narcissistic with their power, possibly.
Which would explain Taro.
Because it makes me think of, like, all of the mythos about Atlantis, for example. Mm-hmm. How Atlantis was this, like, mecca of development, of growth, of culture, far beyond what the world was supposedly like at that time. And the mythos is that
their arrogance got them sunk.
Yes. And so
literally.
And so I kind of get the same feeling for the Dawn family, is that they also became so arrogant in their abilities to create the Bestials, and then the Cerebrums were the ones who created Murasame.
Well, apparently the Dons also created Morsame.
Oh, yes, Mother. Or something along those lines. Because I know it's based on the scientific advancements of the Don family. But at the same time, it's almost like they created their own demise.
Unless you go by the Yu-Gi-Oh! We rulers of Atlantis. We were the greatest civilization in the whole world. And then furries happened. And everything went to hell, man.
Well, furries scare me. I respect anyone who is a furry, so I don't say this through a lack of not respecting a person's choices, but seeing someone who is in a costume of an animal sort.
So I'm just thinking of The Shining every time I hear furries. The dude in the wolf costume.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I think the Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Never seen it.
But why are you nodding? I'm trying to tempt you into asking. Gosh darn.
I've seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Did you see a furry in it?
No.
Then you don't know why I'm referencing that.
I just don't want to.
No, it's actually very clever. You know the scene where the baby is walking and it looks and it's confused and then it's happy?
Yeah.
What they did is that they took someone that the baby knew, recognized, had him dress up in a gorilla suit and doing a weird dance as he came in, and then he took the mask off to smile at the baby. That's how you got such a great reaction.
I was more nodding of like, okay, I'm sure.
See, what? Be curious.
All right, with that said,
hug formation.
Ow!
Wow.
Don't put your fucking elbow into me like that.
Wow, dude. Hug formation, not physical assault.
Right into my liver.
Dang, dude. Dang. Reflex check.
liver let die. Okay, but anyway, what did you guys think of these episodes? Let us know in the comments.
Send your fanfics
like,
too.
subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube does at this point. You can check us out at Kaiju no Kami on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, which I did go there the other day.
Oh, congratulations.
First time since March. But people were still on there. That was the amazing thing. And what's the other one for Kaiju no Kami? Facebook. Yeah, that one too. And I'm sure there's something else I'm missing. But whatever. Creativity by Design LLC.com. And then Creativity by Design LLC.com/shop. Or you can go to the link below to buy cool Kaiju no Kami merch.
Cool.
And then there's
MLP Silver Quill on Twitter, DeviantArt, and the YouTubes. I'm working on my own website too. So that'll come in time. If you search for After the Fact, add a Silver Quill, because otherwise you'll get a news program that does not discuss 50 Shades of Grey fanfics. Which is a...
We don't discuss 50 Shades of Grey fanfics either! You're the one who's been discussing 50 Shades of Grey fanfics!
I'm taking it a thing.
Never once!
Hey, well, you know, when you do think about it, the moment Don
No, do not
when
encourage him!
Don Mamataro lost his abilities to the armor for Sonoi in that liquid,
He turned gray.
he turned gray for 50 seconds.
Nevertheless,
Ooh.
50 seconds of gray.
And
do not encourage him, because if we get any fan fictions for 50 Shades of Grey, I am literally going to delete them, forward them over to you, and then delete them.
A fan fiction of a fan fiction? That could be interesting. That's like, whoa, Inception, man.
Now, well, yeah, remember...
I'm really hungry, so we should get going.
Taro technically drank all his companions that one episode, so, you know.
He was quite
Moving on! We are not going down this route.
Yes, we are.
So we are cutting it now.
I will take her kicking and screaming.
So we're cutting this review out now. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Halloween. I'm assuming you're going to be posting this tonight.
Or tomorrow.
Well, probably tomorrow at this point.
Okay.
And then we've got... Cruellica and I will soon have our thoughts of Kamen Rider Black Sun up. And next weekend we might be doing...
Why not
Decker.
Kamen Rider Black Sundown?
Sun up to sundown.
Shadow moon that bitch.
Or sunrise.
Sunrise.
Bye.